Good afternoon, everyone. This is Joe Henches. We'll be on the chart, and this is stock market analysis for today. Today is Thursday, June 26, 2014. We're going to take a look at the market as we typically do, and then we look at CTRIX Systems, Tableau Software, 3D Systems, and Diamond Offshore. Okay, and I got little worker bees going outside, mowing the lawn, blowing grass, blowing stuff everywhere, and hopefully I can drown out that sound in my final editing. So hopefully that won't be there. All right, we had the Dow breaking down. It was well over 100 points down at one point, and then we came bouncing right back. So it sure just doesn't want to crack. I mean, it's just hanging in here pretty tight. A lot of really tight little days in here. I'm not even sure. I'd have to look back and see when's the last time we had a day that was over 1% move. I think it's been a while. S&P 500, same type thing. Just continues to just hug the top of the 10-day exponential moving average, and every time it tries to go below it, it just buying just comes right back in. Now there is divergences on there. We talked about that before, and same thing on the New York Composite. We've got fairly solid divergence showing up. We're just not cracking, at least not yet. So it's something to be you can't ignore the divergences. They're there. The Nasdaq, same thing. We're seeing them across the board, but we continue to hug. But I mean, look at the range of the days. I mean, we're just really tight, really tight in here. Russell 2000, similar type thing. And this right shoulder concept in here, one thing I noticed about, I started to think, well, maybe the symmetry isn't the greatest in here. But in reality, when you look at this left shoulder, look how the move was like this, and it took a while. It took what? I mean, let's say it started here, early November, early December is 1, early January is 2, say 2.5 months. So now the left-hand side of this, and then the right-hand side dropped pretty quickly. It was about 2 weeks. So now the left-hand side of this is, it's taken, it's even shorter. If this is a potential shoulder here, it's even shorter than this move over here. So even though I think what's happened is this stretch out kind of makes this whole thing losing a little bit of its symmetry, but we'll see. If we start to get a move to the downside, it could happen fairly quickly. But the Russell was ended up down 1.97, basically almost unchanged. Short-term trading index right in the middle, pulling right back up in here, 1.15, and the blue line, the 10-day exponential is 1.15. That's interesting. So the 10-day is right where it closed today. And the volatility index at one point was breaking to higher highs above the last few days, and then it just sold back down as the market rallied. So it closed down, what was it? Up 0.04, so not a whole lot of change. High-low index, not a whole lot going on there either. So, I mean, it's just, these indicators are just not changing a whole lot yet. And of course, given the kind of tight action we're seeing, it's not surprising. All right, let's jump in and take a look at the stocks. At least some of these stocks are having a little more action in here. Not all of them, but some of them are. CTRIX Systems. Okay, CTRIX, this looks like a big head and shoulders bottom. We've talked about this before. It's rallying up. It's pulled back a little bit over the last week or so. Not something I'm, willing to say, hey, let's jump in on. I mean, if you're a longer term player, maybe that is something you want to get on board. But I do think it's got the potential to go a lot higher. Everything seems to be lined up. You got the moving averages. You got the 21. The trading is back above the 233-day moving average. So things are kind of lining up that way for it. And if you just go by the head and shoulders measurement, we're talking about probably challenging these old highs here with some momentum. I'm having a hard time getting a handle on what the wave count might be back down in here, other than maybe this is 1, 2, and this is some part of 3 thrusting to the upside. Let's take a look at Tableau software data, DATA. Now this has pushed well beyond where I thought it might push. You know, I was in calls back down in here, and I can't remember where I got out, 64 maybe. I think when I was testing this high, I got out, and look how it continued to just push. Well, that's why, you know, this is a perfect example, and we've seen lots of examples like this where you just never know where the market's going to take it. Okay, so that's why you have to try to go along for the ride if you can. Now, one thing about this move, this looks like a 3-wave move in here to me. This looks like 3 waves. Well, 3 waves doesn't start a new impulsive move. Okay, it's always 5 waves in a wave 1. So I'm a little skeptical about this. And I think there's the potential, no matter what you're talking about in terms of wave count. I mean, this may be an ABC type corrective thing, but I do think you're going to run into some resistance in here where selling drove down the price a little bit, especially right in here. And support came in here, and then, you know, selling came in here. So I think there's a chance that you're going to hit it right over here. All right, 3D systems. Okay, 3D is also rallying, and it's been, you know, the moving averages are aligned. You know, everything is down below the 233. It has broken this really nice trend line here. I think there's a good possibility that we've gotten this ABC now. You know, maybe, you know, I was looking for something a lot further to the downside. I'm still a little, again, similar to CTRIX, or not CTRIX, similar to Tableau software. I'm a little skeptical of what I'm seeing in here. It almost still looks like a little bit of an ABC type thing. And you might start running into some resistance up in here. And as you get closer to the 233, but I'm thinking, you know, where support came in and then it became resistance as these rallies petered out, you know, and the rallies petered out and selling came in, that might be a place where some selling will start to come in if this continues to move where it's at right now. Let's see if I can get this lined up. There we go. Okay, so this is another resistance point. And we'll see. I mean, right now it's pushing really nice. It's above the 10. 10's moving up at about a 45 degree or higher. And I'm just trying to see if there was something else. I'm trying to think. I think part of me that was rethinking, you know, the other thing, I know the other point I was going to make on this is, although we've gotten a zigzag correction in here, the thing about when you're in a corrective mode, sometimes what starts off as a simple correction can develop into a much more complex correction and do a combination of things. It could start off with a zigzag, develop into a flat, develop into another zigzag. So there's, you know, that's the one thing about corrective, when you're in this corrective mode and you know, you feel, yeah, that 5 waves are done, there's, you know, it's a little uncertain as to what's really developing. And this is why I think 5 major waves are done on this, because I think we had these 5 big moves up, and that this last one had 5 waves in it. And so now I think we're in corrective mode, and the real skepticism to me is whether or not this is corrected enough, has it pulled back enough or not. So we'll just have to keep watching it. And, you know, if you're in it, just, you know, try to ride a stop up and just, you know, see if it'll keep pushing, and try to ride it as far as you can. The next one is Diamond Offshore. Okay, now this one, I'm going with this count. I think we've got 5 waves and going on here, because this looked like pretty solid 5 wave 1, and then this pullback wave 2, and then we got a wave 1, 2, and this was oh gosh, I can't remember where. I think 3 completed in here, and there's 4, and then this is 5 to complete 3. And then now we have a flat type move, because this was a zigzag, and now we've got this A, B, C type flat move coming back up into here. So in this trend line was pretty decisively broken. We pulled right back to the trend line, and now we're rolling over. So that's what makes me think that we're still pressuring to the downside. So that's the scenario I'm sticking with right now. We don't have a trade idea on this, don't have a play on it, but I'm thinking that it's still trending down to the downside. Okay, that's the look on Diamond Offshore. So those are the 4 we're going to cover tonight. We'll see what happens with Friday tomorrow, and then we'll talk to you guys on Saturday and trade ideas on Sunday. Share the post, share the video, and hit the little icons down below. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Everyone have a great Friday. Thanks for stopping by.